Welcome back to my channel. My name is Alyssa for those of you that are new here, and this is my lifestyle channel. Today we are going to talk about something a little bit different. I actually have touched on this on my channel before. Last summer I talked a little bit about endometriosis, and this month I have finally faced my fear head on to find out whether or not I have endometriosis. Why I say it's a fear that I faced is because, in case you don't know, in order to diagnose endometriosis, you have to have a surgery. And I'm not the kind of person that does well with the thought of surgery. I've never had, well, now I've had it. I never had surgery prior to this procedure. So I'm just going to cut right into the clips of how this month began, and then at the end I'm going to come back and talk to you guys about what happened post-surgery. All right. It is Monday, March 1st. I don't know what to call this. If this is the endo journey, or like, I don't want to claim something I don't know yet that I have, but it is very likely that I have it. If you are new here, I've spoken about this before on my channel before. I suffer from really, really bad period cramps, and I've been suffering since I was 14. I had about one completely non-painful period when I was a teen, and one less painful as an adult, but it's just safe to say I've always been in pain, and I've been trying everything under the sun, every remedy, every vitamin, every supplement, every diet, just to see if I can just like get rid of whatever I'm going through naturally. I know I do also have small fibroids too, that actually shrunk, and I think that is based on certain things that I was eating and not eating actually. And I know I also have cysts. I do not have PCOS, as far as I know. I do get a small cyst, and it usually like goes away or it ruptures during my cycle. But this month I will be having a surgery, the laparoscopy surgery, to see if I have endometriosis, and that is the only way that endometriosis can be diagnosed. Don't know what other people say, but that is the only way endometriosis can be diagnosed. And I'm the kind of person that I run away from the word surgery. I've never had surgery before in my life, and it's one of my fears, and it looks like I have to face that fear head on this month, and I'm just going to do what I have to do because I'm tired of planning my life around my period. Like, you know, I've missed so many birthdays of friends and family, and you know, I would go on vacation sometimes and I would get sick on vacation. Like, I can no longer do this to myself. So I'm at the very end of me dealing with this pain. Like, I just can't do it anymore. Just recently Michael and I both did a raw vegan challenge to see if, you know, it will help my period, and obviously 21-day raw vegan is not enough to see if it really impacts the period or not. You may have to go a little bit longer, but being that I did get my period on the last week of the challenge and it was painful, I don't want to go further and then be in pain again. Like, you know, it's only so long you can be a guinea pig for, and I don't want to be in that pain, especially when I have things to do. So I called my GYN last week during my period, and I told her, I'm like, listen, I'm in pain right now. I just did this raw vegan challenge, and she actually told me, like, you know, she told me this last year. She said, if we try everything and you're still in pain, that's how she treats all her patients. She doesn't just she just doesn't go tell them, okay, let's do the surgery to see if you have endometriosis. She wants you to try every single thing, and if nothing works, then you go for the surgery. So I called her and I said, let's just schedule this. Let's just get over with it. I am tired. I need answers, and there could be other things going on that I don't know as well. So it's better to have it done than not. So I just came from, as you can see, let me take this off anyway. I just came from getting my CAT scan. Now, I got a CAT scan just so we can rule out any other things that might show up during the surgery. So my doctor knows exactly what she's seeing when she goes in. But I did express to her last year that sometimes when I cough and laugh and sneeze, I get like this bulge that pokes out by my pelvis, and I'll just push it back in. And she said, okay, that sounds like a hernia. And I'm not surprised because I thought so too. But I've been feeling that for I want to say about 2 years now. I felt that, maybe even more, but I just ignored it because it never really bothered me. But there are times where it feels like really tender in that area, and I would just push it back in, because if you have a hernia, depending where it is, sometimes you could just like push it back in, but that's not really recommended to do. You should have it removed. So the CAT scan was to see if I have that and anything else. The CAT scan is not to detect endometriosis because it cannot be detected that way. So tomorrow the results should be in, and then I meet with my doctor again on Wednesday to discuss next steps and to discuss the CAT scan results. How am I feeling? So I'm not as nervous as I was before over the years. I think I am, I feel a sense of bravery. I feel a sense of courage. I feel that I know that I did everything that I could do for myself. I have been actively researching endometriosis for years. In the meantime, I just knew that I had dysmenorrhea. And one thing about dysmenorrhea, you can have stage 1. You can have dysmenorrhea 1 or dysmenorrhea 2. And dysmenorrhea can be caused by you just have period cramps, right? Which period cramps are not normal. So if you have period cramps, you need to find out why you have it. But then you can also have dysmenorrhea caused by endometriosis. And that's what I need to figure out at this point. Now, the other thing about endometriosis is this. There are women who have stage 4, and endometriosis is detected by stages. There are women that have stage 4 endometriosis and have no pain at all. None. There are women that have stage 2 endometriosis and suffer from a lot of pain. I don't know what stage I have because I didn't have the surgery yet to see what it is. But women that have stage 4 endometriosis and have no pain, usually they find out they have endometriosis when they realize that they have trouble, they're having trouble conceiving. And then they do the surgery and they see that there's endo tissue there. This is something that's not widely spoken about. I do feel like there is still a lack of awareness around this matter, which is why I really want to talk about it. I even spoke about it on my Instagram very openly about it. And, you know, I used to ask myself a lot of times, why me? Years and years and years, ask myself, why me? God, like, why do I have to be in this pain? Why? And now it hits me. Now I know why. It's not meant for me to keep it to myself. I have to talk about it, because what I realized last week, and I'm getting emotional now. What I realized last week was that when I was sharing it on my Instagram, there were a lot of women that were responding to my Instagram stories saying that they have the same pain. And they didn't know what it was or what it is, but they just are told that their periods are normal. They're just told that their periods are normal, and to take birth control, to take Advil, and that's okay. Let's do this without crying. Period cramps are not normal. Many doctors have told me, you know, okay, we're gonna put you on Loestrin. That was a form of birth control, and it kind of helped with the pain, but I knew it was not something that I wanted to be on. I was on birth control at a very young age. So I was like 14 when I was on it, and I just didn't like the way I just didn't like the way the pill made me feel. But, you know, again, I still did I still did my own research to find out, you know, what could be possibly going on with me. What can I do? What changes can I make to my diet? How active do I need to be? But again, my point is, this is not something that anybody should be suffering from. And if your doctor is telling you it's just how your body is, you need to find another doctor. I'm telling you. The doctor that I have now is thanks to my friend Patrice, is her OBGYN as well. I've been seeing her for a year now, and she's the first doctor to tell me that, listen, the symptoms that you are telling me sounds like it could be endometriosis. But with all my patients, I do not do the surgery first. We go through all the stages. We try over-the-counter medication, painkillers. We try birth control if that's what you want to do. We try everything first before we go to that stage. Because surgery is just not something you can just be like, yeah, let's open me up real quick and see what's going on. So yeah, so if you're going through this and you're going through this pain, and I don't care if it's just like, oh, it's bearable pain, no. You should not be in pain. And there are women that are like, oh my God, I do not know what you're going through. So it's just like, listen, know your body, take care of yourself, really listen to your heart. And that's what I had to end up doing, because I know there are family and friends out there that just like, oh, you can just do this or try this one more thing. And I'm just like, no, I'm at the end. I've been a guinea pig for over 15 years at this point, like, or more than that. I'm 32 now. So imagine, like, I'm not gonna plan another month around my life around my period. I'm not gonna plan another month of my life around my period. So I'm just gonna go through with this, and I'm just, the only thing I'm concerned about is that after my surgery, my period does come a couple days after that, and it's likely to be one of the worst periods I ever had, because I will still be in the process of healing during that time internally. So I'm gonna still be a little sore. So imagine being sore and like having a period at the same time. Like I can only imagine, because I don't know what that feels like, because I haven't had surgery. So yeah, I'm going to take you guys along on this journey, and I really hope this speaks to somebody. I really hope that this gives someone else courage. I'm gonna be brave for all of us, and I'm gonna go through this, and I'm going to document every single step of the way, and I really hope that it helps someone else out there too. All right, happy Wednesday. It is the day of my follow-up appointment with my GYN. I will be getting the results of my CAT scan that I took on Monday, and having an examination as well, and speaking about the upcoming surgery and what to expect. I am hoping for the best, and I am going to let you guys know how that goes once I'm done with my appointment. So let me head in now. All right, so just finished with my appointment with my doctor, and she went over the CAT scan results with me. The good news is I do not have a hernia, which is great. But she did explain to me that the CAT scan did pick up a fibroid and a polyps and a cyst, all on my left side of my uterus. The cyst is in my ovary. It's small. She's not worried about it. The polyps is nothing to worry about. It's the fibroid. Now, I know that the last time I had a transvaginal sonogram last year, that they did also see a 2 small fibroids at the time. Nothing to worry about. But before we do the lap surgery, which that's when they put the camera inside of me to see what's going on, see if there's any endo tissue, she does want to figure out the size of the fibroid, because she does believe that the fibroid could be also the reason why I'm having so much pain. Now, there's a lot of things to unpack there for me, because being that I've been told that I have a fibroid before and it was small, nothing to worry about, I do wonder if I've been having fibroids on and off and it has been causing the pain during my periods, or what. So we're gonna find out the size of the fibroid. Now, if this fibroid is of a size that she thinks she needs to operate on it, I will be having a lap plus a fibroid surgery, a removal of fibroids, which means that's 2 different cuts. And that also means it's 2 different times of me recovering. A lap can take up to a week or 2. Fibroid surgery can take 3 to 4 weeks. I am hoping for the former and not the latter. So yeah, this is where we are. I will keep you guys posted and let you know how this goes. All right, so another day, another medical examination. I am going for my sonogram now that I told you guys about yesterday. I'm just going to head in there now, and hopefully the medical technician can tell me the size of this fibroid, so I don't have to wait for my doctor to tell me. So let's get this over with, and if it's not dark when I come back out here, I will give you guys an update as to what happened. And I'm really not looking forward to this sonogram. It's not the most comfortable sonogram, but suck it up and do what I have to do. All right, it's March 17th. It's 6:30 a.m. It's the morning of my surgery. We're leaving here at 7. Michael's just in the shower, just waiting for him to get out. I don't know how I'm feeling right now. I know I'm a little bit nervous, but I also feel a sense of calm knowing that I have a great doctor and I'm in good hands. I am looking forward to knowing what's going on in my uterus, whether or not I do have endometriosis. I didn't give you guys an update from the pap smear. I didn't give you guys an update about the transvaginal sonogram because it was so dark when I left. But the results of that transvaginal sonogram was that there is 2 small fibroids and 1 cyst on my left ovary. Thankfully, the fibroids are small. They're about the size of a Cheerio, so the doctor's not worried about it. She's not even going to do anything with it. And compared to my sonogram from February 2020, they haven't really increased in size, so that's a good sign. However, I will be continuing making changes here and there to my diet just to make sure they don't grow anymore. I just want them to shrink. But one is located in the cavity of my uterus, and she said that one might be causing a lot of pain during my menstrual and may cause me to bleed a bit more, a bit heavier, just because of the location. The cyst, small as well, she's not worried about it. She did tell me when she does the surgery, if she can get to it, she will pop it. So we can just get rid of the cyst. I didn't want to hear those words. I didn't expect that, but if she can get rid of it, fine. Rather not have it. But I have been experiencing a lot of, I wouldn't say pain, but a lot of discomfort on my left side for the past 2 weeks. And I've noticed that my abdominal area is inflated. It looks like my stomach is big. The discomfort is just I barely got any relief. It just feels like something is just grazing against my side. It's not period pain. It just feels like this grazing feeling. But anyway, I just feel like maybe this is just the perfect time for me to have surgery. All the feels are happening at once. So I just pray for relief. So after the surgery, we will give you an update. And I'm just praying everything goes well.
How do you feel?
Nervous.
First time doing surgery?
You know that answer is yes.
But I have to ask it. Not everybody knows.
Yes. I'm nervous. I'm cold. I don't know what to think. But alright, so post-operation, I don't know anything. After the surgery, I felt some pain in my stomach, similar to period pain. So they gave me medication for that, but according to Michael, the doctor did speak to him, and endometriosis is confirmed, but it is microscopic. So help me out here. What else did she tell you?
That it wasn't anything severe, so she didn't operate, just went in the camera and looked at everything as far as your fallopian tubes and your ovaries, and said that there was no damage, so there was nothing conclusive in order for her to do any kind of operation. So,
which is good news.
Yeah.
That's what I was most concerned about, just due to the level of pain that I usually have, makes me assume that there's some damage going on in my stomach. And that's not the case. She said IUD might be an option, which I'm not sure if that's something I want to do due to the time that I need to have the IUD. Next steps, other than
healing. I think the diet approach might be really helpful. Continuing with like not having dairy, which can feed endo and fibroids.
Do you feel like this was the right decision?
Yeah, because now I have better answers. Because I think if I didn't do this, I would have kept assuming that my ovaries were messed up, or I would assume the worst just based on the kind of pain I get. But now I'm just rest assured knowing that they're still good, they're healthy, they can have babies.
Disclaimer, she did say everything looks great.
Yeah. So, yeah, now I'm just in the recovery room. I should be here for another hour, and they're gonna feed me, and then they're gonna release me.
How do you feel overall?
Overall, I'm happier now that I have answers. And I'm happy knowing that it's not as extreme as I thought it was. However, the pain will still be there. But we'll see.
How do you feel as far as the pain post-surgery on a scale from 1 to 10?
When I finished the surgery, the pain was about an 8, 9. So they gave me the medication, Teradol, through the IV, and it went down to about a 4.
What would you have to say for people that are going through the similar pains?
I would say do the surgery if you can, if that's one of your options, so you have better answers. I don't think it's smart to just live life not knowing. It's sad that this surgery is the only way you can diagnose endometriosis, but I think it's worth doing it so you have answers and you know what's going on. I'm really drugged up.
Let's talk about the positives that you will be doing post-surgery while you be on bed rest.
Going back to exercise, changing up my diet. You can come, for sure. Yeah. And just keeping a close eye on my pain so I can tell Dr. Jean how I'm feeling.
Okay, we can cut it here.
You ready to eat and drink a little bit?
Oh, yes.
At the time of recording this video, it is now a week after my surgery. Today's Friday. I had the surgery a week and 2 days. I had the surgery last Wednesday. The surgery that I had was a laparoscopy, and basically during that surgery what they do is they make an incision in your belly button and they put a camera down there to see if there's any endometriosis. If any endometriosis tissue is found, if the doctor can take away some, like remove some of the tissue, they will do it then and there. However, that doesn't mean they'll get to every bit of tissue that's inside of you. Depending on the severity of the condition, they may have to do more than 2 holes. I had 2 holes done. I had one on my belly button and one on my right side. Some people get some like up here on their stomach and another one on the left side. It depends on the situation. Endometriosis is when the lining of the uterus, which is inside of the uterus, grows outside of the uterus. And when that happens, there is no way for that tissue to shed during your period. And that's what causes so much pain for so many different women. And the tissue can grow in other areas of your body. It can go to your intestines, it can go to your tubes, it can go to your ovaries. And that's when it becomes really serious for a lot of women, because it can cause damage in those areas, making pregnancy hard. Now, what I'm pretty shocked about with my situation is that I was diagnosed with microscopic endometriosis. Prior to my lap, I have never heard of microscopic endometriosis. When I did my research after hearing this term, then I started to learn more about it. Now, I was a little skeptical about filming this video because I have not seen my doctor after my surgery yet. My appointment is next week. After my surgery, she only spoke to Michael at the time because I was still in the recovery room after the surgery, and obviously the recovery can take, it was about an hour that I was in the recovery. So I went into surgery, and then I was out like a light. Like, they gave me the anesthesia, I was gone. I just remember waking up and I was just looking around like, where am I? Like, I was so shocked, because in my mind it was like, did I just come up here? So I didn't realize that surgery was done. Until when I finally felt more awake, I started feeling pain in my stomach, and it felt like period cramps. So I asked them to give me some kind of like, they asked me if I was in pain. I said yes. They said scale of 1 to 10. I said it's a 9. So they gave me Teradol through IV, and it took a bit of time for it to get to the pain, but it finally went to the pain and I started to feel a little bit better. But I was up there for about an hour, and then they took me down for the second part of my recovery, which was in the room that Michael and I were in. And when I got to that room, Michael did tell me that the doctor did come and talk to him and tell him, you know, that the surgery went well. Nothing is damaged, thank God. My ovaries are fine, my tubes are fine, my uterus looks fine. However, the endometriosis is there, but endometriosis is confirmed, but it's microscopic endometriosis. So Michael was like, well, he just reiterated to me what he said. Michael was like, well, does that mean that, you know, there was no point in the surgery? She said no, because without the surgery, you don't know if you have endometriosis or not. This is not something that you can see on a CAT scan. You can't see this on a sonogram. You cannot see this any other way except for having this surgery. And I think a lot of women are afraid of that surgery just because of that as well. And I think a lot of women are afraid to find out they have endometriosis or not because of that surgery. And I get it. Like, I get it. But I can say to you that I had no idea anything was happening, but I get it. But anyway, so I was like, okay, microscopic endometriosis. At that point, I just stored it in my head. I was in pain again at that point because like the medication was wearing off, and I was just still a little loopy from the anesthesia, so I just wasn't fully like 100% there. So if you told me anything, like I'm just like, okay. But I was in the recovery after Michael and I spoke, and he told me about, you know, the situation, and he told me that she also told him, because he was asking her a lot of questions, like, you know, so what's next? Like, how does she get rid of the pain? Like, that's the sad part about this, is that I'm still going to be in pain, and it's taken me some time to actually accept that. But you know what? I'm just going to keep on doing my research, trying different things until I find what works for me, because a lot of different women, there's no one size fits all approach for endometriosis. Everyone reacts to something differently. Everyone has their own methods that they want to try. I know for sure I do not want to go on birth control right now. I'm 32 years old, and the birth control that may be best for me in the situation is the IUD. I do not want to be on the IUD. Just given the time you have to be on this IUD and when you have to come off of it when you're ready to have kids, like that time frame is not really working with me right now. So yeah, so I'm not gonna do that. And I also don't want different hormones and stuff in my, like, the hormone situation is just not, yeah, no, not right now. But she told him IUD is a possibility. There's other, like, you know, things that we can try. Okay, we'll see. When I talk to her, I'll know more. But this is the information I have right now. So I was in the recovery room, and I had to do part 2 of recovery. So part 2 of recovery involves being able to, you have to do a couple of things for the nurses before they're able to discharge you. You have to pee. You have to be able to do a walk. Wherever they take you, they took me around the nurse's station before you can go. Now, it takes about 2 hours before you can do those things. It took me more than 2 hours. It took me almost 4 hours to pee. And the nurse was like, you know, if it takes you 6 hours, we may have to admit you. What? I was like, no. So I was like, can you give me some tea, some water, like all the things, so I can pee. still took forever to pee, and then on top of that, the anesthesia was still kicking in, so I was just like falling asleep. And then finally I was like, you know what, let me go to the bathroom and try to like run water while I tried to pee. Ran the water, still nothing. Then I laid back down, and then we did a little walk, and the nurse was walking with me, and she was explaining to me like, you know, what can happen after when I go home, the things to look out for, which I didn't know about prior to having the surgery. I know I've watched a lot of videos where other women have gone, have done the lap. I'm just abbreviating laparoscopy at this point. Other women have done the lap, and they talked about like, you know, the pain from the, you know, the areas of the surgery after coming home, and like how their first period after the lap felt. Like I heard about things like that. What I didn't know was that I was going to get this crazy shoulder pain, like pains in like other areas of my body because of the gas they put in me in order to perform the surgery. So she was telling me about that, and I was like, okay, because I wasn't feeling that at that point. So we did the walks and stuff like that, but it was hard to walk. I couldn't walk very well. My right leg felt really heavy. I just felt like it just felt like it wasn't in my body. So we did that, and then finally I went back and I was like, listen, I was like, you know what, let me try again. And then I found this YouTube video. I just googled like sounds to help you pee. I'm like, I'm gonna try everything. I want to go home at this point. So I found a YouTube video with sounds to help you pee, and I found like this water dropping sound, and to my surprise it worked. I peed, and then they just came with the discharge papers and walked through a few other stuff with me to watch out for when I go home. And they did say that, you know, on the ride home you might feel a little queasy, you might even throw up. So I said, you know what, just give me a barf bag right now, because I don't want to be unprepared if that happens. I'm glad I asked for the barf bag because I did throw up. And I'm just sharing that just in case you're someone that might have to do surgery like this and you don't know what to prepare for. It's better to be prepared than not be prepared. So got home, and here's the thing, because I was on anesthesia still, it was still in my body, and I still had a bit of the Teradol in my body. The pain that I was feeling was not the pain that that was really in my body. So I was a little confused there. I thought like, oh, you know, I'm okay. But then it started to wear off, and ooh, I was in pain. I couldn't get up on my own. Like, and I had a friend that warned me that you may need help getting up, but I was like, oh, okay, like maybe like I'll just take my time. No. When I needed to get up, I had to say, Michael, okay. Like he had to lift me up. So that was a little painful. And it was hard to sleep as well. I had to sleep on my back. I'm a stomach sleeper. I'm a stomach and side sleeper, so I would toss and turn. I had to sleep in one position. One morning, I don't know how I ended up on my right side. I had to get up to pee, and I was just trying to get up, and I just couldn't get up. And at this point, the shoulder pain started. This was Thursday morning. The shoulder pain started, and my shoulder was like, I couldn't do anything. Like, that gas pain was intense. So I had that pain, and then I had the pain where I had the surgery, and I just had to pee, and I was just like trying to get out of bed, and Mike was like sleeping, and I'm like, I can barely talk. I'm in so much pain. And finally he wakes up, and he was like, what, do you want to turn over? I'm like, no. And I'm like, like so much pain. And finally he realized I have to pee, so he runs around the bed, and then he picks me up so I can go use the bathroom. But I would suggest, if you have to do a surgery like this, please have someone around. If you can, somebody to stay with you. Thank God Michael and I do live together, but when he did go back to work, my mom was here with me to help me as well, so that was really nice. Now, Friday comes, and I get my period. Now, I was hoping that I either get my period during or before the lap, because I know that they'll be able to give me the meds, the strong stuff, so I can be in less pain. That didn't happen that way. And I wasn't sent home with medication. I was sent home with instructions to buy any like painkillers or Gas X to help with the gas. But I could have asked for a prescription, but I was like, you know what, again, like, because what I was feeling was not what I was actually supposed to feel in my body, I was like, oh, okay, I got this. You know, ask for the strong stuff. So got my period around 9 a.m. I was fine. There was no pain. And I didn't get my hopes up because this happened last month as well. Last month I got my period. It came at around 12 p.m. and I was fine. No pain. I was okay. And that month, that was February, I also did a raw vegan challenge with Michael, and the raw vegan challenge was my last straw before I decided to do the surgery. Because like I said in my last video that I did over the summer, I wanted to try everything possible before I can say to myself, you need to have this surgery. I didn't want to call something on myself that I didn't have, but in the back of my mind I had a feeling that it could be that. So I did a raw vegan challenge with Michael, and I still ended up in pain. Now, here's the thing about this pain, and this will, I don't want to confuse you guys, but there's some things that I learned within the past week that makes more sense to me now, and I'll get into that. So when I get my period, I get these cramping pains in my stomach, my lower abdomen, my uterus, and it feels like sharp stabbing, like it's the worst. It's like a fight happening in my stomach. This is not like, and for those who don't get period cramps, this is not like a gas pain. This is not like when you hit your toe on the couch. This is not like when you hit your funny bone. Like, this pain is a pain that, don't tell somebody with endometriosis that they just can't take pain. No. I can take pain. I can stub my toe, say ouch for like a couple seconds, and then be on my merry way. I can hit my funny bone, say ouch. I can bite my tongue and say ouch. No, that pain brings you to your knees. You're curled up. You just want to lay on a cold floor, no one around you, like, and if you're like me, you throw up, you get diarrhea. Like, I hate to be TMI, but I have to, because I have to keep it real. You pass out from the pain. You just don't know how bad it might get. So if you get like a little bit of a period pain, you already tell yourself, I'm taking an Advil right now, because this might escalate. Because it really starts from 0 to 100 real quick. So I start to feel those pains in my stomach, and I was like, yeah, I'm not even going to try to see if my pain's a little bit different, especially as I know that what I have is microscopic endometriosis, which means they didn't see anything to remove, so the pain I know was going to come back just as bad as before. So I took an Advil, and the pain went away eventually. And then I woke up the next morning. And then I had like dinner. So I had like pasta that my mom made, no cheese. I already cut out the dairy. No cheese. I just had pasta with like tomato sauce, and I had like, I think I had broccoli and cauliflower. And I had some mango. And I went to bed, and I woke up the next morning, and I started having these pains again. The pains were different, and I noticed these pains before. So I get two different kinds of pains when I have my period. I get that cramping uterus pain, and then I get another dull pain that is associated with having to go to the bathroom. And once I go to the bathroom, the pain goes away temporarily. I never thought to separate those two kinds of pains. I thought it was always my period pain, you know, and that one was just different from the other based on the day it was of my cycle. Something that went over my head when I went to do my surgery, when the nurses were coming with their checklist of like any like history of allergies, blah blah blah, she did mention IBS to me. And she didn't mention it in the form of a question. She mentioned it in the form of, other than IBS, any other stomach issues. And I was like, IBS? What are you talking about? So it occurred to me on Friday morning when I was in, sorry, not Friday morning, Saturday morning, that's when I was in the pain. The period came Friday. It occurred to me Saturday morning that I may have IBS. This is not something that was discussed with me, and I understand why, because my doctor is not a GYN. She's a GYN. She's not my regular physician. And based on symptoms that I have shared with her, yeah, I just might have IBS. So the thing about the IBS, I'm going to go for a second opinion because, again, my doctor is a GYN, not a regular physician, and see if I really do have IBS. So Saturday I woke up and I was in like so much pain, and then imagine being in pain from like period or maybe the IBS and being in pain from the surgery all at the same time. Like, I was just going through it. So anyway, fast forward, I start Googling this IBS situation, and then I start Googling IBS and endometriosis, and I found that IBS usually affects women more than it does men, and women who often have endo also have IBS. So when I was looking through the symptoms of IBS, I was like, wait a minute. I check off a lot of these boxes. A lot. And then the crazy thing is that you can be diagnosed with endo and actually have IBS, or you can be diagnosed with IBS and actually have endo, or you can actually have both. Now, IBS is not something that's detected through a surgery or screening. It's not detected through any test, actually. It's actually determined based on your symptoms. I forgot, it's a 3-point checklist. I forgot the actual like, sorry, I'm like having endo brain right now. I forgot the actual descriptions of each bullet, but it's something that I can link down below so you guys can read. But when I did go through the checklist, and with the association of periods, I noticed that, yes, I do get this dull pain outside of my regular crazy period cramps. I get this dull pain, and then when I go to the bathroom, the pain is relieved, but then eventually it comes back. So it's not something that, okay, the pain's relieved and then like you're good. No, it's like you're good for like maybe 5 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, maybe an hour, and then it just comes back again. And when I looked at foods that trigger IBS, 3 of the foods that I ate on Friday night were on that list. So cauliflower, broccoli, pasta, mango. And I'm like, wait a minute, have I been eating foods during my period that have triggered IBS, which has caused me to deal with such horrific pain, other than endo pain, horrific dull pains that cause me to go to the bathroom, and then when I go to the bathroom I am relieved of those pains, but then I go back and eat regular, not knowing that I could have had IBS or what triggers it. That is a huge possibility. So it starts to make sense to me now, these dull pains that happen during my period, what's causing that. So next month what I'm going to do is I'm not going to eat foods that trigger IBS during my period, and the foods that trigger IBS during your period are foods that you just never would have thought, like watermelon, the veggies that I just mentioned, honey, like it's basically all the foods on the high FODMAP list. And if you don't know about FODMAPs, you can look that up too. So I would have to swap FODMAPs, high FODMAPs, to low FODMAPs, and see if that works out for me. But again, I'm still going to make sure that I get a second opinion on that, and I think that will help me tremendously if I can just change my diet around my periods. But aside from that, the regular menstrual cramps that I get, I just don't know what I'm going to do about that. I'm going to try everything. I ordered a book about treating endo with nutrition, and I'm going to see if that's going to help me. But yeah, this has been quite a journey, and it's still a journey because I'm still going to be going through this pain. I'm still going to be trying different things and seeing what works out for me, what doesn't, and I'm still going to be sharing because it's something that needs to be spoken about. It's something that there's not a lot of awareness about it. It's something that there needs to be more funding to get answers about endometriosis, like what causes it, how can it be treated. It's something that is not like they just put that thing underneath the rug. Like, they can talk about everything else, but they're not talking about endo. And it sucks because I feel like I lose 1 week every month from endo. And I'm saying 1 week, but it feels more like 2 weeks because sometimes prior to my period coming, I get like moody, I get forgetful. That's another thing, and I try to explain this to people sometimes, like, you know, there's certain ways that I try to work around this without having to tell people like the exact issue. And this is a whole different topic, but it does fall into like boundaries and people understanding. Like, you know, if someone tells you, hey, you know, can you text me something instead of telling me, because I want to be able to refer back to it. There's a reason why I say that. It's because I was dealing with brain fog. Like, your girl was dealing with brain fog, and that is a symptom of endometriosis. I didn't even know that. I thought I was just losing my mind. But no, I was dealing with brain fog. There were times where I felt like I would just get like PMDD. I would just get so depressed before my period, and I would just feel like there's a dark cloud over my head. Eventually I would get out of the funk because I kind of identify what it is, and I know that it's temporary. But once it starts, it's like, holy crap, like, not again. But if you have any of these symptoms, I feel you. I understand you. Even if no one else understands you, it's hard, and I just don't like having to plan my life around endo. But I'll know more when I talk to my doctor. I hope this is helpful in some way or some form. If there are any questions that you may have, please leave them down below in the comments. I'm more than happy to respond to them. Maybe I can do a follow-up video, but I will know more once I talk to my doctor next week, and I'll be sure to keep sharing my journey with you guys. I am very open about this on my Instagram. If you follow me on Instagram, I talk about this on my Instagram stories. I am so happy to have a community where there are women that are very supportive. Like, I cannot believe how much support I got, especially the morning of my surgery. Like, simple messages like, you know, hope your surgery goes well, to like people actually sending me full-blown prayers in my DMs. Like, that makes me feel so good. It really uplifted me. It really helped me get through that day because there was a lot going through my mind during that surgery. I was trying my best to stay strong for myself. But yeah, and then, like, you know, just knowing the things that happen during surgery, even though you're sleeping, it was freaking me out. Like, they had to put the tube down my throat while I was sleeping. I didn't know that was gonna happen. I know they have to cut me open, like all those things I was thinking about. But once they give you the anesthesia, you're just out like a light, and by the time you wake up, it's like nothing ever happened. But I'm happy that I do have an answer. I'm very happy that none of my organs are damaged. And now I can move forward with that information. But once again, I am going to chat with my doctor, my GYN, for the follow-up visit. And then I will also go to my physician to talk about this IBS situation and how I can, you know, do something to control it. But the thing about this IBS is that it only bothers me during my period. Like, I can eat those foods and outside my period and I'm okay. So that's the part that kind of confuses me a little bit. So stay tuned and I'll be back, but thanks for watching.